Hello, the designers. This SketchUp is on the shower, number 15. So let's get started. I'll share the screen. And here we go. Let's see. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to do a shower with a like a quarter circle shower with a rounded uh, glass door. And then I'll just show you basically how you would make a uh, the square shower or the uh, angled shower with an angled door would be about the same. So I'll do the hardest one. Okay, so I'm going to make my shower 2 feet by 2 feet. You decide what your dimensions are. I'm starting out with a 2 foot square by 2 foot. Okay. Then use the arc tool to go from these opposite corners and make an arc that's tangent to the edges. And delete this stuff. Got it? Okay. Okay, the next thing we'll do is we're going to raise this up with the push-pull tool. I'm going to go up about 2 inches just so it's a little easier to see. You can use whatever dimensions you want to. That would give you the floor that you step up. You have to step up to the shower a little bit because you have to have enough thickness for the drain. So I'm going to go up about 2 inches. You use whatever dimensions you want. Okay, then the next thing we'll do, we want to have walls on the back because this is a freestanding shower. You know, we could just create a quarter circle and slap it into the corner of the bathroom, but it wouldn't look very realistic. So I want this to be somewhat realistic, believable as a shower. Okay, the next thing you want to do is use the offset tool. Gotta go the right direction. Here we go. And this will give you the thickness of the wall. I'm going to make it about an inch thick. Okay, so this right here is the thickness of the wall. And this would be the corner that it would fit into. Okay, the next thing, let's see, how should we do this? What we want to do is copy this portion right in here and set it off to the side. That is going to be how we construct the glass door. So you want to copy this and the line around that. You know, I could probably, yeah, just double click it. That's what we want to copy right there. So Control C and then Control V, and it's going to give you this. Just set it off to the side for a second. And while we're at it, make this a component. And then before we do any more to this, we need to make this a component. And then we need to make a copy of this because this will be the roof or the, you know, the top of the shower. So I'm just going to move with the, I typed M for the move tool and then Control. And then I'm going to slide this over, set that off to the side. And when we're all done, we'll just set that right up on top of it. Let me zoom in here. Okay, use the pencil tool and draw a line from this point following the axis. You can tell you're on the red axis and then lock it in on this edge. And see how I click on the selection tool to make that go off. Okay, grab the pencil tool again and do the same thing up here. It should snap right into place, and that should be on the green axis. So this will make, whoops, okay, see what I did wrong? I didn't edit the component. There we go. Make this line. And then make this line over here. I forgot to edit the component. So this will make, now if I go back into edit components, this will make that back wall that goes against the actual wall of your structure, okay? And then the glass will fit in between here. That's what we're going to use this other piece for that we copied earlier. Okay, let me think a minute. I think we'll put the glass in there first, and then we'll raise this up to the right height after we put the glass in. So this is a component. Now we step up to this, and we want the glass to sit right on this. So here's that piece I made. And I'm going to move that back. Now that's why this has to be a component and this has to be a component so they don't merge together. So I'm going to move that, place this corner right there. Okay. So now they're separate. They're not going to be merged together. Okay, I'm going to pick a height of, let's see, a shower. Let's make it in a standard shower is going to go all the way to the ceiling, but I want to allow 2 inches for this. So I'll subtract the 2 inches for the base and the 2 inches for the top from 8 feet. So that would be 7 feet, 4 inches. So that's when I'm going to raise this up to 7 feet, 4 inches. And it's a component, just that little base part here. You'll see how this works in a second. So edit the component. And I'm going to raise this up 7 feet, 4 inches. 7 feet, 4 inches. And then you want to position this so you can see the top. Okay, that's all we need for right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this curvature right here. That's going to become the glass. So I can delete this, edit component. So this component is only the preliminary to the glass. That base is not selected, remember? So I'm going to get rid of this line, which gets rid of that back portion. Same thing here. And I'm not sure that, yeah, there's a line right there. So what I've got left is that. And that's going to become the glass. So what I'll do right now, as long as I've got it in the edit component mode, I'm going to fill that with glass. So you'll need to go up to over on the side where you can find the materials. See, and I can't show you that on mine because yours is different, but on my version, I go up to window and materials. So you need to find the materials, and yours will pop up pretty much similar to this. And right here, this one with the 2 different shades of blue, that's the most realistic looking glass. Click that, and then you should be able to click right in there, and you've got a transparent, curved piece of glass. And I'll just get rid of this. And then the next thing we need to do is raise those walls up. And that will be the same distance, 7 feet, 4 inches. So I'm going to edit that component. Raise this up. Let me zoom in so you can see a little better. I'm going to raise this surface. Whoops. Before I do that, because I've copied and pasted this base to become the roof or the ceiling, I need to make this component unique. In other words, watch what happens on my screen when I raise this up. See how it does it to the one over here? That's because they're copies. They're like clones. Okay, so let me just It's real simple to do if I haven't demonstrated that before. When you select the component, right click and make unique. Okay, now I can edit the component, raise this up 7 feet, 4 inches. Whoops. Let me undo that. 7 feet, 4 inches. And it should go up to the exact same height as the glass door. We're good, okay? You know what? I'm thinking about, I think 7 feet 4, I don't know, that looks a little weird to me. I guess it's all right. Some showers I've seen that they don't go all the way up to the ceiling, but you don't want it to go up to the 9'6". I don't think you can buy a shower that goes up to 9'6", but this would fit into an 8-foot space. You'll have a little space above that. Anyway, so let's take the top. It's a component. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can really grab this point that I want. Okay, I'm going to move it. So I'm just going to use the move tool. And I want to, wait, before I do that, I want to be able to point. I want this point right there, which corresponds to this back point right there. So what I'm going to do first is just kind of get it up here. Kind of get it in the proximity. Paying attention to my axis so it doesn't go way off in the distance. There we go. Trying to make this as big as possible. So I brought it over this way along the axis and straight up. So what I want to do is place this point right here. Select the move tool, grab it by that point, and just slide it over, and it should snap right into place. Now, in a shower like this, it's really, the glass is really made of 2 pieces. Usually the glass will be divided into 2, and half of this will slide behind the other. Let's not go to that extent because we'd have to have 2 separate pieces of glass that are offset. But just for realism, what I'm going to do is put a little piece right down here that would be the middle of this curvature right here, and put a little piece right there and just and just bring it up, and that would represent where the 2 pieces of glass are separated, and there'd be like a little frame around it. So what I want to do is hide the, remember to make components like I showed in the video or in the previous steps. Okay, I'm going to hide this. So what I want to do is halfway around this curvature, I'm going to put a little rectangle, and then I'm going to drag that all the way up, and that'll represent where the glass is separated. Okay. The only way I could figure out how to do this, if you can figure out a better way, I need to find the exact midpoint on this curvature. So what I did, I just drew a line with the pencil tool from here over to here. And then I used the measuring tape and go from the corner, click, and then move it out. And as I move this back and forth, it's going to find, there's the midpoint, that little blue dot. Then I keep whoops. There's the midpoint, and just keep extending it, and you'll have a guide on that curvature. You can delete this line. So right here is where I want to make this little rectangle. Let's see. I may have, I may have to do it with the pencil tool. I'm not sure how that's going to work out here. Just a little rectangle about like this. Maybe we're even closer. See, you have to rotate this around, I think, because it has to be on this plane right here. And it's kind of weird because there's not right angles that are evident. So like here, here. Close enough. I think that'll work. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to raise that up 7 feet 4 inches. 7 feet 4 inches. Okay, the last thing, here's the floor of the shower, but this needs to be a little bit above that. That's what keeps the water from running out. So edit component. I think this will work. Yeah. Maybe an inch or so. So you would step over that. So say this half of the glass is free to slide behind this half of the glass. That would be the basic way this works. Okay, let me unhide. Oops. There we go. A believable shower. Now, let me just move this thing out of the way here. I'm not gonna do the other type of showers in their entirety because it's basically the same. But so say you had a corner shower, but instead of being curved, it may look, let's go with the same 2 feet by 2 feet, whatever size you want. You determine that 2 feet by 2 feet. And other showers are cut across an angle like this. So what you'll need to do is find come on. I guess I can just go over half of that. It should give me that mid. There it is, right there. And then one on this side, the midpoint. So I would cut this off right here with a pencil tool. Something like this. And then the steps would be the same, identical steps. Okay, got it? And then just go back over the rest of the video. The steps would be identical, except I wouldn't have a curved line in there. Okay, now if you're going to do a larger shower, let's say the shower is, I'm just going to pick out a dimension, 2 feet by 3 feet. It may be different for yours. Oops. Something like that, where it's more of a rectangle. So in that case, let's see. I think probably the way I would do that would be, let's use the offset tool. Make your wall, I'm not even going to bother typing in the dimension. You make your wall thickness. I think I used an inch. Make your wall thickness. And Before you do that, I would probably raise it up to 2 inches. Let's go up to 2 inches. And then use the offset for the wall thickness. And that door is not the whole width of this. The door may be maybe like 2/3 of that. So that's where you'd want to put a line, make your measurement with a guide somehow, wherever that would be for you. Say the door is this wide right here. You get what I'm talking about? This part is fixed glass, and the door would fit right in here. So I think if I put a line here, whoops, that's the guide. Pencil tool, put a line here, and then another line here. So then at this point is where I would, let's see, make this a component. At this point, make it a component. That's the ceiling or the roof of your shower. Okay. Then I would also, after I've made it a component, let me just go ahead and do that so I can show you. I'm not going to do the whole thing though. I'm going to edit this component. I've already copied and moved it, and I want to copy just this part right here for the glass and set that off to the side. All right? Because eventually, when you paste that, make sure you turn off that component to see how it was part of that. Turn that off and then paste it. So eventually, just this line will be left as the glass. So in other words, if I had placed this back on top of here, and the way I'm not going to raise it all the way up, but say I raise it up and then I delete this stuff. Unless, you know what, let me back up. Maybe your glass goes all the way around. Maybe it's in a corner, and this part here is the corner of your wall. This is your wall, and maybe this is glass too. So delete what you need to, however your shower is designed. We're gonna get rid of that. And I got that little line in there. I can hide that, or when you make this, make sure that this component is turned off. Anyway, so that would become the glass. Got it? And the rest of it's the same. And then you would make your little frame right in here and raise that up. So this part here would probably be the door. And you might want to, just for realism's sake, if you have a little post right here, because this is fixed glass, this is the door, maybe you put a little frame over here too. So it looks a little more believable. And then, of course, once you get all this ready, then just like in the other curved one, you'd raise this up. And see how this stays at this level because you got that line right there. If this were going to be a glass, then you would put a line. See how it's raising this whole thing? Well, maybe you want this to be glass back here. So you would put a line right across here. And now when I raise that up, so you've got the glass now. Whoops. I should have put another line right here, right? Now when I raise that up, there. hang on. I didn't edit the component when I drew that line. So you'd be doing it like this. Edit the component. I'm not sure why that. I'd probably want to undo all this, go back and redo these lines. But anyway, you can divide that space up so that when you lift this up, you're only lifting up the part that's against the wall. I don't want to go back into it and redo it. So I think you've got the three different scenarios for a shower. Okay. And then of course, when this is all done, you've already copied and moved this base that gets put on top, and that's your roof. Okay. So that should be it. It looks believable as a shower. There's probably a lot more detail. I'm sure if you go on the warehouse, you could find the shower that somebody spent 3 hours making the shower look totally realistic. But I want you to build the shower because that's the only way you learn SketchUp. Like I said before, if all you do is download warehouse materials, it's a dollhouse project. It's not, you're not really learning SketchUp. And that you've already received the email that says what you're allowed to download as one of the components from the warehouse. Okay, that's it for the video. Thank you.